My name is Isaac Hernandez. I am 26 years old. I am a Seventh-day Adventist, and I am a carpenter. To me, Christianity is a group of people that identify, that first acknowledge that Jesus Christ is the Son of God and that He paid for their sins. And therefore, they believe in that and they love Him for that. And they believe that since He died for them, that He's also alive now, and He wants us to be like Him. No, I wasn't always a Seventh-day Adventist, but I grew up Catholic. I was raised Catholic. I went to Wednesday Catholic classes every week. But once I got older, I just wanted to learn more about God, and I wanted to worship Him in truth. And eventually, I became a Seventh-day Adventist. Being a Christian isn't necessarily difficult in the way that the world or most people think difficult is. The difficult part is not necessarily doing something. Like, for example, if someone wants to say doing math is hard, doing math is difficult, it's not that type of difficult. The challenging part for me is for me to be able to be just let the Lord take control of my life. So I like to do what I want to do. I like to spend the time the way I want to spend it. I like to sleep as long as I want to sleep, and I like to spend my money the way I want to spend my money. But that's not necessarily how God wants me to do it. So that is the challenging part of being a Christian. So the hardest challenge I faced was finding the truth. For me, that was difficult. I feel like it wasn't really within my reach. It's not like I knew where to go or how to get that information. I knew the information was in the Bible, and when I was looking for a church, I just wanted to go to a church that I knew God would dwell in. I knew God had a church. I knew for a fact God was organized. I just didn't know which one it was. So when I was reading and praying, I thank God that we serve a living God and that He answers prayers. And one day, He gave me that grain of truth, through TV, and I found out about the Sabbath. I found out about the mark of the beast, and I know no matter whatever church I will have to go to, I have to keep the Sabbath, and had to keep the Ten Commandments of God. We can't say we're Christians and not keep the commandments. So that eliminated almost all the other churches, and eventually I became a Seventh-day Adventist. I wouldn't want to go back in time because I feel like my mistakes, even though I would say I have a lot of work to do on my character, but I feel like my mistakes made me become as humble as I am, even though I still need to work on that. And I always reflect back on my mistakes, like, oh God, you're a dummy sometimes. That's what. But so I would go to the future. I would like to see what this world looks like. What my family is, how they are spiritually. Not even too far, like 5 years from now. I just like to see where they are 5 years from now. My favorite animal would be a lion, because a lion, when you think of it, you think of power, so, and that definitely reminds me of God all the time. I mean, He's even described as, the Lion of Judah, so what reminds me of Him is the power that he has, but even though he's so meek, you know, but the power that he has is unquestionable, and that's why he's the king. You know, even though he refuses to exercise it whenever as a human would, you know, but he's still just, so righteous, so loving. But once you see him, you fall down on your face. You know, he even has to strengthen you. You can't even stand in his presence without him giving you the strength to do so. So he is the lion. My favorite Bible character would be Hosea, because of his obedience, because he married a prostitute, which I cringe when if I would have to marry a prostitute. If God asked me that, I think that would be the worst, the thing that my flesh will fight against the most. You know, that will probably be one of the most difficult challenges I will have to do. But he did it, and he loved her, and he kept chasing after her even after she left and had a child with someone else. And I'm like, oh man, for me that's like my standard to retain a wife would be so much lower than that. You know, but he was so faithful, and that shows God's love for us. You know, it shows that God, he doesn't care what we've done. He would always want us back. You know, he paid for our sins, and we have not gone so far that he cannot redeem us. So he's always constantly trying to woo us back to him. My favorite Bible verse is in Romans chapter 8, and it says, "For what the law could not do, and that it was weak through the flesh, God sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh." And to me, it shows what Jesus went through, how he came to this earth. He came just like us. He came in sinful flesh, and he still conquered everything. And he came and he gave us the same power to do what he's done. And that is our goal. That's the whole duty of man, you know, to keep the commandments of God, to love him. I remain as a Christian now because I feel like with what I know and with what I experienced, I feel like I would be betraying God, you know, and I believe in everything. I believe in the Bible, and I'll just be lying to myself every day if I just go back to the world and just go back to the way I was. Life wouldn't be the same, basically.